The stars scattered across the Cathar expanse were ancient and fading, their light thin and weary. Space there carried a stillness that pressed against the nerves, the sort of silence that made even decorated soldiers uneasy. Nothing important ever passed through that region. No trade lanes crossed it. No colonies clung to its systems. No empire had bothered to claim it, because there was nothing worth claiming. That was precisely why Ambassador Velerin of the Theraki preferred it as a patrol corridor. His ship. The Eternal Thought was long and graceful, its curved hull flowing through space like a blade through water. Every surface gleamed. Every system operated with exact precision. The Theraki had refined starship construction for more than 4,000 years, and it showed in every seam and panel. The vessel had the quiet arrogance of perfected engineering, the kind that made other species reconsider their own achievements. Velerin stood at the center of the bridge, tall even for his kind, pale blue skin, luminous under the console lights. Two of his 4 narrow eyes studied the emptiness beyond the viewing screen. He was bored. 12 rotations of patrol along this edge had produced nothing but routine reports. Then Science Officer. Mirath made a small sound. It was subtle, the restrained noise of someone seeing something that should not exist. Velerin turned one eye toward her. Report. She did not answer immediately. Her fingers moved quickly across her console as she reran the scan. 2 of her eyes remained fixed on the display. I am receiving a contact, she said at last. But it does not align with expected parameters. Sensor fault? No. I have verified the system 3 times. She straightened, all 4 eyes locking onto him, a sign she did not use lightly. There is a vessel. Velerin glanced at the screen. Only stars stared back. Location? Bearing 47 by 12. Approximately 9,000 kilometers? Pause. It is very large. Velerin moved to her station and studied the data. He expected the numbers to shift, to correct themselves. They did not. Length, 3.8 kilometers. That alone was not shocking. Several major powers fielded ships of comparable size. The Solvith Empire had larger ones, but the rest of the readout was wrong. There is no quantum field envelope. Velerin said quietly. Correct. No dark matter compression signature. Correct. No anti-gravity stabilization. No phase shielding. No energy lattice. He looked at her. How is it maintaining structural integrity at that scale? Marith swallowed slightly. The hull appears to be composed of layered metal. Thick layers. Extremely thick. Internal support beams run through the entire frame at regular intervals. She brought up a cross-section. The layers were absurd. The outermost plating measures approximately 40 meters of ferrous alloy composite. Lauren stared. That is not advanced engineering. That is mass accumulation. Yes, and beneath it. Ceramic heat-resistant material. Reinforced structural compounds. Extensive pipe networks carrying pressurized gas and liquid. She hesitated. The liquid appears to be water. Silence settled over the bridge. Water. Velerin repeated. Yes, Ambassador. He folded his hands behind his back, steadying his thoughts. Propulsion signature? Mirith's expression tightened. Multiple systems operating simultaneously. A primary fusion torch drive. Supplemental ion drives. Chemical booster stages. And a high thermal output core that resembles a fission reactor. Velerin almost flinched at the word. Fission was technology the Theraki had abandoned 3 millennia ago. Armament. She opened another display. 24 electromagnetic rail acceleration cannons along dorsal and ventral surfaces. Each approximately 300 meters in length. Multiple sealed missile bays. Extensive point defense coverage. The vessel's schematic looked less like design philosophy and more like a weapon rack bolted onto a fortress wall. Is it maneuvering? Yes. Slow acceleration toward our position. Significant thermal exhaust. Hull venting detected. It is leaking. That is one interpretation. Velerin considered for several seconds. Full spectrum scan. Confirm everything. Results returned unchanged. The vessel was real. 3.8 kilometers of metal, concrete, pipes, and weapons. Moving through space, as though no one had told it such a thing was impossible. Then the bridge. Communications system chimed. Incoming hail. Standard conclave frequency. Velone exchanged a glance with his communications officer and nodded. The channel opened. A human voice came through, relaxed. Almost friendly. Hello out there. This is Captain Mara Ah of the UEES Unyielding Principle, operating under the United Earth Sovereignty. We picked up your vessel about 20 minutes ago. We're not looking for trouble. We're actually trying to relocate a navigational beacon that was dislodged during our last engagement. If you can provide a positional ping, we would appreciate it. Owie out. The channel closed. No one on the Eternal Thought spoke. The impossible vessel had survived combat. It had detected a ship designed for stealth, and it had asked politely for directions. Sir, Mirith asked softly. Orders. Velern watched as the massive silhouette became faintly visible against the stars. Gas curled from its hull in thin silver threads. Engine heat shimmered behind it like breath. It was the least elegant ship he had ever seen. It might also be the most dangerous. Secure channel to Conclave High Command, he said calmly. Priority 1. I require the Admiral. Brief pause. And send the humans a positional ping. They asked courteously. Around the bridge, glances were exchanged. Something had shifted. None of them could define it yet, but they felt it. The subtle tremor before the arrival of something enormous. Rose report too high. Commands spanned 17 pages. Sensor data. Structural analysis. Weapons projections. Communications transcript at the end. Under personal observation, he added 4 sentences. I have patrolled this expanse for 9 rotations. I have encountered vessels from 22 species. I have never observed anything comparable to this ship. Our current physics models do not adequately explain its existence. He transmitted the file and continued, watching the unyielding principle. Under enhanced magnification, its hull bore scars, patched plating, visible repairs. Weld lines left unapologetically exposed. Nothing was polished. Nothing was hidden. It had been fixed to function, not to impress. That detail unsettled him more than the weapons. Across the 9,000-kilometer gap, Captain Mara Oi accepted the positional ping, updated her charts, and instructed her navigator to set a new course. Her repair queue stood at 43 items and climbing. Diplomacy could wait. She sipped cold coffee, grimaced, and returned to work. The Cathra stars burned quietly around both vessels. Between them lingered the unspoken awareness that something had begun. Hi. Command received Velern's report during the 3rd hour of the morning cycle. The duty officer, who read the opening pages, went pale and proceeded directly to Admiral Senra's private quarters. Waking an admiral at that hour risked a career he knocked anyway. Admiral Senra of the Solvith opened the door with irritation prepared on her tongue. It vanished when she saw his expression. She read the first page. Get everyone, she said simply. Within an hour, the main conference chamber filled admirals, architects, weapons theorists, propulsion physicists. Representatives from 11 conclave species, some were still adjusting uniforms. None were comfortable. They reviewed the data from the Eternal Thought in silence. Architect Deveni summarized the whole design. It uses no advanced resonance layering, no bonded quantum alloys. It relies on physical thickness. Cross-section image drew quiet sounds around the table. 40 meters of ferrous composite, he continued, followed by ceramic and reinforced structural compounds. Concrete. Vice Admiral Thurin asked flatly. Yes, a murmur passed through the chamber. Deveni folded his hands. It is not efficient, but it is extraordinarily difficult to destroy. Our energy weapons are optimized for modern hull depths. This vessel ignores efficiency and substitutes mass. Propulsion analysis followed. Fusion torch primary, the propulsion physicist explained. Supplemented by ion drives and chemical boosters, individually unimpressive. collectively persistent, difficult to disable entirely, and weapons. 24 rail cannons, the analyst said. Solid kinetic projectiles at extreme velocity. Simulation of a conclave frigate under rail impact played across the display. Shields slowed the projectile. They did not stop it. Are defensive. Paradigms are optimized against energy weapons, the analyst concluded. Kinetic saturation at this scale presents a disproportionate threat. Silence lingered. Then the historian Drennick spoke. 3 weeks ago, in the Dravani corridor, a sovereignty rating group engaged an unidentified vessel matching this profile. He brought up recovered drone footage. A dark, massive shape endured concentrated fire. Plasma struck its hull. Energy flared. When the light cleared, the vessel remained scarred, advancing then one of its rail cannons. Discharged, the raider ship ceased to exist in a flash of kinetic devastation. Drennick paused the footage. This, he said quietly, is not technological backwardness. It is doctrinal divergence. No one argued, far away in the Cathra expanse. The unyielding principle continued on its patrol, slow, heavy, deliberate. The galaxy had just taken its first true look at humanity's philosophy of war, and it had no framework yet to understand what it was seeing.